It's New Year's Eve and I am stopping off at the Esso station in my house before going to a nice party with some friends. It's freezing cold and I haven't got a light, so I'm just gonna leave this interior light on because I don't think it will run my van out. So I'm gonna fill up the diesel heater and fill up the spare diesel can, and then I'm gonna get some food, and then I'm gonna go around and fill the van up. So that's the next step in my wonderful New Year's Eve. But it's pretty early at the moment. It's only 5:30. So there's loads of people pulling into the service station though. It's all of a sudden got really busy. Not quite sure how I'm supposed to open the door. I guess it's just people don't care. I'm a big vehicle though, so let's leave the light on. No one behind me. No need for a seatbelt because there's no one coming in. Now I've got to go this side. That should work alright. I'll go right over here, I think, out of the way. Might back up because I took a bit of a let someone else get in on the other side. Don't move my light anymore. Brill. So I'll just fill my diesel tank up, fill my little petrol can up, and then go and pay for that. I don't know if it's anything to do with my age or not, but everybody just looks dodgy nowadays. The two guys that, they weren't pictured in the video because I had the camera around the wrong way, but they were big sort of guys with hoodies on, completely covered up, but it is cold, so it's not surprising. The plan now is to chuck a U-turn. Come back into this car park or this service station. I could have just gone through to my side there, but unfortunately there's a big tanker truck there. Let me go there. That's pretty cool. I'll pull up in this spot here. Hopefully we can get past. It's busy. Everybody's decided to come and get fuel or booze, probably. Oh, turn my big lights off. There's a really deep whirring sound, which possibly could be the diesel truck or the petrol tanker. Let's see. Yeah, it's them pumping the fuel into the reservoirs in the petrol station here. It's obviously got a really deep sounding pump. So I bought a 4-pack of neck oil, which is a nice little beer, and like an £8 bottle of Prosecco because it's New Year's Eve, so obviously people are going to want to have a little drink. But I'm sure, or Prosecco, I'm sure they'll have thousands of, well, dozens of bottles of Prosecco where we're going, because there's going to be a few people round and they'll all have a Prosecco. So this is the service station where I made the video about me installing the little shelving unit. So this is its sort of parking area, which I think you can park up overnight in, because it's open 24 hours, the petrol station, and you can park here. I don't think anybody'd say anything. The guys don't care. And then there's that nice little field to the left there, with a really good view of the countryside. And then you got the Asda there, which is pretty cool. So it's a good spot. I'm gonna chill here for an hour, I think. Let's do this transfer of fuel. I don't think you're supposed to do it in petrol stations. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do it in petrol stations. But I'm kind of hidden around the corner, so I think I'll get away with it. It has got a level on it on the outside, actually. I'll be able to see whether it is. It's too dark. I'm just winging it by eye. It seems. I reckon that'll be enough. That's probably. That's about perfect. I reckon that's about over 3/4 full. Close that up. Close this up. Put this back on the shelf. This is all really watertight. This diesel heater, which I've spoken about before, comes in a box. The exhaust pipe just gently sits against the back of the seat, and then we bungee the whole thing onto the kitchen area. That's it. And that's really safe when you're driving. It doesn't smell either. Probably saw my leg in the shot rather than the diesel heater, but there it is. Put this back in the front. Try and seal it as well so the smell doesn't come out. I have got another bag somewhere, but don't know where it is. So I've had the opportunity to live van life full time, proper van life, off grid, stealth camping as it's affectionately known, all sorts of different ways of living in your van, and I've never really taken it on as a full-on pastime. Shut this up. So that's all safe now. I'm going to go and get a piece of towel. Yeah, so I could have lived in this van. I had a lot of opportunities, and you can find spots like this. And if you buy food, and if you buy fuel, and are a patron of these kind of places, these service stations, these sort of smaller ones like this, they don't charge you. The main road is sort of shielded behind this side road that we're on, and you know, no passing traffic comes through. You get people stopping to fuel up and to rest or to get food at the services, but I don't think they'll hassle you. So I've had the opportunity to do that, obviously. And then there's the bigger service stations on the motorways, which are really good, but they do charge you, as I've said before, they charge you 15 quid a night. They're pretty much the same really as this. There's no difference. They're no less or more secure. The services are open as often as well. There's no difference. I'm gonna put that back in the van, in the bag, when I can get to the bag, so hang on. Right, that's the diesel transferred into the diesel heater. Another little tick in the box. New Year's Eve. I've never been a fan, not of New Year's Eve, not of the celebration, but all the faff that goes into it. I suppose when you're a kid, it's okay because you just get drunk and you love it. I got to London, I've been to Brighton, did a New Year's Eve in Australia, did one in Nevada in a casino in near Lake Tahoe. Did a New Year's Eve there. And I think I've done a New Year's Eve in not Thailand, but maybe Bali. We were in New Year's Eve. Done one really tropical one. And it's nice, but they're all the same. They're all just people, usually Brits on the piss, isn't it? Just out there drinking excessively with no filter or anything, and they're just out there screaming it up. No wonder we get criticised for being a bit yobbish. But that's my memory through the decades of New Year's Eve. It's pretty much like that all the time. And the best ones I've had, I've done London, done Big Ben, but you can't move. And if you go to a nightclub, you spend 25, 30 quid to get in, or more probably nowadays. And then you queue for like 2 hours at the bar to get a terrible drink. Yeah, and then you just stand nose to nose with strangers, dancing around thinking this is not fun, and pretending to be happy because of all the music, which is fine, and the celebration, that's fine, but when you're packed in like sardines, it's not. And then you just wake up in the morning skint with a hangover. Yeah, that's what I remember New Year's Eve being like. So tonight's going to be much more mellow. It's going to be a party. It's a house party. A guy's got a nice house, his family. There'll be, food and drinks and a number of nice people there. So I'll do that. And then we're staying at our mate's house. Their son's bedroom's just been done up. He's back at university, so we can stay there. Me and my partner can stay there. Or if it gets a bit noisy and there's a few people back at the house, which is not likely, but if it does happen, then we could escape to the van to here, because I've got the electric hookup through his side window. I'll have the heater on, I'll have the electric on, have everything. And we have a key to the door, which is right next to the van, so if you need to use the bathroom, it's easy. You obviously have to put your fleece on and your flip-flops or something, or your Crocs, but it's a real small price to pay. And then in the morning he'll make really good coffee. He likes making his coffee. I like good coffee, I really do, but I'm a bit lazy, so I tend to just make instant coffee, which I like, but he makes an effort. He's got one of those, it's not a French press. You put it on the stove, a little silver pot. Everybody's familiar with them, aren't they? It just goes flat on the halogen stove, and it bubbles away inside, and then makes this ridiculously strong coffee. And I think he uses Illy, which is a really good brand of coffee. So he uses that, and then you have it with a bit of oat milk, because they all drink oat milk instead of cow's milk, the whole family. Great, it tastes really nice. Not so nice in tea, but it's really nice in coffee. So that's a good start to the day. And then if I was staying there for a while and I was feeling a bit rough, I'd probably have a can of beer in the morning, a small can, because it just takes the kick off the hangover, and a couple of paracetamol. Yeah, so I'm glad we've got a quiet night tonight. And then New Year's Day is always a little bit hungover and a bit depressing, because you're hungover. But nothing a good coffee or a hair of the dog won't cure. And then after that, at the weekend, I'm going to see my mate's band in London. It's the band I used to be in, and I wrote a lot of the music for it, but I sold out the rights to him, and he performs on his own now. It's pretty cool. Just because when the spring and summer comes and I'm off at the race courses and things, I just haven't got time to play a gig on a Friday or Saturday night, because it's a whole van full of music kit, including the PA and all the lights and the instruments, that has to be taken home. So I can't even go straight to Silverstone or wherever, because I have to go home, unload everything from the van, load it back up with camera equipment, lights, tripods, you name it, and then drive to Silverstone, which I've never tried, but that would be like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then at 7 o'clock I've got to be up to do a full day's work. it would be an absolute nightmare. So I've never done it. And I just said to him a couple of years ago, I think it was 2, maybe getting on for 3 now. I said, I just can't do this anymore. It's just too much going on. However, in hindsight, I should have just got more gigs, because we used to get paid quite a lot. I should have just got more gigs so I didn't have to go to the race courses, even though the race courses pay 3 times the amount the gigs do. Just do 3 times as many gigs. I would have happily done that. So anyway, that's my New Year's Eve vlog. Not very interesting, but I'm going to post it with a lot of my other stuff. I've noticed a lot of people that I'm watching on YouTube now just tend to, and they do all right with their views, they just tend to just chat in their vehicles like I'm doing. Now, I have done a few different things on my videos, but I have done a few service station chats as well, and a pouring rain boredom chat as well. So I'm just sort of making it up as I go along, but it's all right. Hopefully I'll get a few more views as it picks up, as the spring comes and I start doing motor racing circuits again and things like that. I reckon it might be a bit more exciting for the YouTube watcher, because now you're either sort of interested in a geezer talking about his day, or you're not, and so people will either click on or won't click on. It's not compelling or anything, the stories, but it's just content, isn't it? And it gives you a window into other people's lives. So I don't know if I didn't really finish that subject I was talking about of living in my van. So I've owned a van that looks just like this one, another one, a Mercedes, looked identical, for 20 years. And in all those years I did own a house, but I could have lived in the van, and a number of times I thought I'll just sell the house and live in the van, because I used to stay in it anyway with work, so I'm used to it being campervaned out. It's always had a bed, it's always had a microwave, and lots of good things like that. And this one, which I've had for getting on for 2.5 years now, this has got exactly the same setup as the last one. But now, because I don't own a house, I rent somewhere, you know, the sensible thing to do would be to live in the van. But I do live in the van when I'm on the racetracks and when I'm away, so I'm probably spending 3 or 4 nights in it 2 or 3 times a month. But as a percentage, that's not a great deal. Whereas the van lifers I watch on YouTube, they live in their van. They just live in their van, and they're happy to pull up in a beautiful location and just camp, which I can, and I have done, and I should do more. But I just don't tend to do it. I don't know why. I've been to lots of places in the world and done lots of things, and I've seen lots of places, and it gets to the point now where if I'm parked up in Hamburg or something, for instance, if I'd driven to Hamburg, I don't know what to do. I've seen Hamburg loads of times. I've seen Berlin. I've seen lots of countries in Poland and Belgium. I've seen Spain and seen Barcelona. I've seen numerous places in France, all the way from, you know, in Le Mans down through to Lyon and right down in the south, Annecy. Yeah, I mean, you could go out there. I've got the diesel heater. I've got everything. I could go out there, but. And I've been to Portugal. Oh. But I don't want to just be a van nomad. I can't entertain myself doing that, because I've seen a lot of it before. So I need to work. What I need is for COVID and Brexit to have never happened, and then we'd have a much more open world. You know, and I used to work all over Europe, and I went to Greece before COVID, a little bit further afield and stuff, and all those things were good, and I could potentially sort of live in the van and do those things, but everything's so closed down now. The racetracks are the racetracks, I can still go there. The football grounds are the football grounds, I can still go there. But you can't really park your van, because a lot of the football grounds won't even let you park your vehicle on site. You park it a mile down the road, lug all your kit to the football ground, and then lug it all back. really inconvenient, but they pay really well, so you put up with it. But that's not a van life option, not doing the football. Europe would be a van life option, but if you're going to go to Europe and work, you've got to be able to stay there for quite a long time. We've got a limit on how long we're allowed to stay. Yeah, so I continue to live in rented accommodation. It's nice, it's a beautiful place. I look after the place, I look after the cat, and keep the place tidy. And that's it really, but I'm not there very often. I sleep in the van quite often. I will go off and stay in the van, but I'll come back there to have a shower or something. I don't really cook there. I do a wash about, because I don't wear a huge amount of clothes. I don't need to change my clothes every day. But underwear, socks and pants and things like that, and dirty t-shirts, they can stack up for weeks, 2-3 weeks, and just because it's such a big van, I've just got a basket and I can put it all in, and then once a month, twice a month, I'll just do a wash. It's easy as that really. It's very common for people who don't do van life to think that winter is actually the hardest time because it's cold, and that summer's a preferable season. That is not the truth. Not so much in the UK, because we very rarely get 90 or 100 degrees Fahrenheit days. But when it's hot, and it was this summer just gone, inside the van it can get to like 103, 104 Fahrenheit. Unbelievable. I have an air conditioner, so that's pretty good, but it's really power hungry. So when I'm away at an event venue, I can put the air conditioner on, which is a portable one, 3 foot tall, 1 foot by 1 foot, runs off the mains, but it run my battery out in about 4 hours, which is good because my battery is really good. But that's it, half a day gone. And if you've got an air conditioner and you're in the summer living in your van and it's hot, you need to run it pretty much 24/7. If you're working in it and then going to sleep in it at night, you have to run it because it's a nightmare. Whereas when it's cold, even if you haven't got the diesel heater or any form, decent form of heating, you can run an electric blanket. I can run my electric blanket for about 28 hours, no more. Yeah, maybe 30 hours. Ridiculous amounts of time. So you can keep that warm, and you can pad up with 2 or 3 or 4, as many as you want, sleeping bags, and wear thick socks and a hat. So winter is actually a more preferable time to be a van dweller, generally speaking, than hot summers. They are a nightmare. That's why a lot of American van lifers, West Coast van lifers, move away from the deserts and go up north to the cooler climates, or even up to Canada in the summer, because it's just too hot. So summer is more uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable a few times this year at racetracks, and summer is more uncomfortable. Unless you've got an electric hookup, then you just run your air conditioner all day long, but then you've not always got that. And if you're travelling around a bit to interesting spots or service stations, you don't get that. I have actually got, which I featured in another video when I was at a racetrack towards the end of this year, a little modest petrol generator. It's quite quiet, quite efficient, runs off normal unleaded fuel, and it'll run for about 12 hours on a tank. It's not that cheap, it's probably about £7 for 12 hours, but you can charge your battery in 2 hours off of that, your big leisure battery. So that's another one, an emergency one. It's great carrying that, as is the air conditioner. I could run the air conditioner off of the generator. I think I probably have a couple of times, but you can't run it overnight because it just makes too much of a racket. So it's all swings and roundabouts, and some things are good, some things are bad. Some places are good, some places are bad. Some seasons are good, some seasons are bad. But I don't like the winter. I've got good clothing. I've got an excellent fleece on. I've got a really funky little hoodie which keeps me really warm, and I've got a really good down jacket that's smart but super warm, fully layered up. Got some nice gloves. These are sort of just, I don't know, thinsulate ones or whatever, but they're pretty good, nice and thick, and they keep me going. And I got this hat. So, and today I've got trainers on and trousers, but I've got thermal underwear which I wear sometimes, and I've got some work boots which are really warm. So I've got all the kit, but I just don't like the winter. It's just, January's the worst month. My ex-partner always used to say to me, "You're always depressed in January." She used to say, "Don't worry, you know it'll pick up in February and March." And for 10 years it did. January was the panic stations. February and March were back to normal again. And in the summer I was too busy and wished that it was quieter. You can't win, can you? But you've got to pay your bills, you've got to pay your mortgage. But now I don't have a mortgage because I don't have a house. But I should go on the road, shouldn't I? I should just get in my van and go on the road. So many people do it, and it's such a good way to live. And I know the stress levels would go right down if I did. I can keep my camera kit in the van. I could go and stay in Wales for a while, or Cornwall. I love Cornwall. Anywhere, doesn't matter. And then when I need to work, I just drive to the destinations, do my work, and then drive back. I've got lots of friends in different parts of the country, and I've paid off this van. I don't owe anything for this van. I don't owe anything for my camera equipment. I paid that all off a few years ago. My quite expensive camera equipment, but all those debts were sorted. And the little car I own, which I think I featured in a YouTube video, the little Fiesta, it's only worth about £3,000 less now. I've paid all that off as well, and I've got some money in the bank, so financially it's great. But I just don't want to go and park up somewhere in the winter, and the UK seems like pretty depressing for park ups. Anywhere that's nice to park up, and there are loads of nice places, they've got those yellow barriers in the UK. You can't get a van into them, and they all close at night, even if they haven't got a barrier. But by 11 o'clock someone will throw you out. We're a really heavily restricted country. It's such a shame. Back in the day when I was a kid, we used to, when we were students, I was a student, we all lived in vehicles then. Years, I mean, we're talking, God, 40 years ago. 40 years ago. I lived in a van for a while. I lived in a caravan for a while as a student on land next to where I was at college. Similar part of the country to here. And there was loads of free land, and people weren't really that fussed about it. Obviously if you pitch up and you're travellers and you make lots of mess and have livestock, and they get a bit concerned about that. But if you keep it small, whether you're a traveller or whether you're a student, if you keep it small and neat and tidy, nobody ever worried. But now you just can't. You just can't. You can't go anywhere or do anything, especially with a high top van, because you can't get into anywhere. So I quite often stay in the service stations. Chieveley, Clackett Lane. Chieveley's all right. Clackett Lane's actually nice. I've posted a picture. Lots of controversial comments. Some loving it, some thinking it was terrible, but it was lovely. And here, this place, it's a really good little spot to stay. You know, it's quiet. I've been sitting here for well over an hour, and there's just the odd car comes in to get its fuel. And I think everybody's dodgy. That's definitely an age thing. He looks a bit dodgy. Oh, he looks a bit dodgy. It's just buying fuel. Right, I'm going to put the heater back on. I'll never know whether I can be heard over the sound of the heater. I probably can be heard, but the heater's probably really annoying. Maybe I'll put it on 2. Am I still recording? I'm sure it is. This thing seems to record forever. Yeah. 10 minutes. Not too long. So I'm just waiting for the spring. It'll be sometime in March, so only 2 months away, 2 and a bit months, 8-10 weeks. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound like long at all, and it does go quick. Then I'll get a call and it'll be like, right, Friday morning we're doing setup, Saturday we're filming, Sunday we're filming, Monday we're packing up. So I'll go up on the Thursday, sometimes I stay over on the Monday, and then go home on the Tuesday. So that's like 5 days, and we get paid good for that. And I do that a couple of times or 3 times a month. And then my cricket starts, fingers crossed. Hope I get more regular work this year. I've done a few, as I've probably mentioned in the past. But I'd like to do, because cricket's on in the week. It's so popular, live streamed, and it pays well because it goes out like to India. Millions of people watch the live stream. You wouldn't believe it, you know. And so they pay a decent day rate for it. It's not like a little student-y production. It's a proper big style production. And there are cricket grounds all up and down the UK. So I'd love to get probably 2 a week would be nice. Only 2 a week, and then maybe a corporate job in a studio of some kind once a week, and then have a couple of days off in the week, and then obviously there'll be the long weekends at the racetracks, which can be on average 2, sometimes 3. This year there were sometimes just 1 a month, so it was a bit disappointing, but the cricket helped back that up. But I want that to work regularly, and then I think, I don't know, I just don't know. Do you ever feel like you just don't know? You just don't know. I've kind of like been winging it for 58 years. I'll be 58 this year, soon. And I've been winging it, well, as a child and as a child. So let's say, probably started when I became a teenager. So for the best part of 45 years, I've just been winging it, and I've had a great time. It's like a roller coaster. My life's been great. I mean, people always say to me, God, it's so good. God, the freedom you've got. God, and I've got all these things. And I've got no debts, and I'm so lucky. But I don't want to go off and live in my van. And I find myself a lot of the time just not knowing what to do. I'm very bad at being alone. I used to be really good at being alone, but I'm now really bad at being alone. I just find it hard to amuse myself. Now I'm not in the band, and I don't run as much as I used to, because I used to run a lot, but I don't run much now because my back hurts so much. You know, you get pins and needles in your leg, that kind of pain. I've had it looked at and had MRIs and stuff. And just basically, yeah, you're getting old, and your soft, spongy vertebrae are starting to look a bit like a bit of leather. Same old story. Anyone who's getting old understands that. I'm still pretty fit and pretty active and looking fine. I'm not unhappy with all of that, but yeah, I can't run as often. I used to run every day. Only like 3k, not long runs. I have done some half marathons, but they just kill me for weeks. So I just used to just run for fun every day, just, you know, a couple of miles, 3 miles maybe, 5k. And I used to mountain bike a lot, an awful lot. Yeah, I used to compete in downhill mountain biking. That was pretty good. I had a really good downhill rig. That was 20 odd years ago, 30 years ago now probably. I used to do that, and went on tours and ski seasons and things like that, all those sort of extreme sports. I did it for years. But now, well, I don't want to go and do a winter extreme sport because I just haven't had enough of winter. Even though there's snow and mountains, I've done it for years. I could go back down to Cornwall, but there's just nowhere to park in Cornwall now. There used to be so many little places you could just find in Cornwall, and the surf spots you could park up for a couple of days, you know, and then just go surfing every day. You can't do it. Just doesn't exist anymore. Just doesn't exist. And Cornwall's not a massive place, and you've got to be on the north coast between, say, Bude and, I don't know, St Ives, roughly speaking. All along there, there's just nothing now. Let's just stay on a paid campsite. Height restrictions on all the sort of naturey parks and reserves. It's a shame, because, you know, it was really good fun doing it. What's the time now? 6:45. Well, I think I'll wrap this up. This has just been another video of me sitting in my van talking, because I won't name drop anybody really, there's no need because nobody watches my videos. So but there's a couple of there's a guy in the Pacific Northwest who has a little white van. He's just swapped it in for an SUV, and he just sits talking at the camera. That's it. It's great. He's got lots of followers, and he just yaps on and makes coffee. And then there's another guy who lives in Massachusetts. Two guys that live in Massachusetts. One lives in his car. He's great fun, and he does sort of go out and about and work and film that. But he, largely speaking, just chats away to his camera in his car. And then there's this other guy who's got a big van like mine, painted all red inside. If you know him, you know him. I won't say his name because I won't shout out just yet, because I've got no one to shout out to. But yeah, he's in Massachusetts, and he just goes on and on and on and on like I am. And he will occasionally go into a shop and buy an accessory and lean on his trolley and give you a bit of a spiel about what he's up to. And he does do some good stuff, does a few little tours on stately homes and rides his scooter. But largely speaking, it's exactly like this. He's just sitting in his van talking about how he feels. So I will, as I say, wrap this up. I'm going to publish it. If people watch it, it's good. I'll maybe get a bit more specific about things if a few people watch it and a few people ask questions. Otherwise it'll just be generic blah blah blah. Right, put the heater back on and head off. Happy New Year.